In the remote corners of the Pacific Northwest, shrouded by dense forests and misty mountain ranges, there's a town locals avoid mentioning out loud. It doesn't appear on many maps. GPS often glitches when you try to find it. The few who live nearby call it Daring Woods, but most refer to it only as the town that takes people. For decades, possibly longer, people who enter Daring Woods vanish without a trace. Some are travelers, lured in by curiosity or navigation errors. Others are locals who simply disappear on the way to work or vanish while walking their dogs. No bodies, no clues, no signs of struggle, just gone, as if the earth itself swallowed them whole. The mystery of Daring Woods began gaining national attention in the 1990s, but the locals know the stories go back to the 1800s. Journal entries from early settlers speak of travelers never reaching the town, of strange whispers in the trees, and of a thick fog that seems to pull people in deeper than they meant to go. The official population of Daring Woods has remained under 100 for over 50 years. But it's not because people don't move there. It's because they don't stay. Some leave immediately, claiming a sense of unease they can't explain. Others simply vanish, their homes left untouched. Food still on the table, cars in the driveway. The most chilling of these cases occurred in 1997, when an entire family disappeared. The Lanes, two parents and their teenage daughter, had moved from California to escape city life. They bought a farmhouse on the outskirts of town. 2 months later, a neighbor noticed the mail piling up. Police arrived to find the house locked from the inside. No sign of forced entry. The dinner table was set for 3, the food rotting. All of their belongings were inside. But the Lanes were never seen again. It wasn't the first time. A hiker named Elijah Moore vanished in 1983. He was an experienced woodsman, familiar with the terrain, and had left with gear, maps, and a satellite radio. A week later, his dog returned, scratched, terrified, and shaking. But Elijah was never found. The last recorded transmission from his radio was a single word: turn. In 2006, a journalist named Olivia Renton arrived to investigate. She published a series of articles about the town's dark history, noting strange electromagnetic readings, unusual wildlife behavior, and the consistent presence of fog even on clear days. Locals were hesitant to speak, and some outright warned her to leave. She didn't listen. On her final night in Daring Woods, Olivia called her editor in a panic. She said she heard knocking on her cabin walls, though no one was outside. She claimed someone or something was following her. Then the call cut off. Her phone was found the next day in the middle of a dirt trail, screen cracked. Olivia was never found. The article series ended unfinished. Her disappearance was briefly covered in the news, but quickly faded from headlines. In 2010, a historian named Dr. Glenn Meyerson uncovered old municipal records hidden in an abandoned church basement near Daring Woods. These documents contained references to a town council meeting from 1881, where it was voted unanimously to never expand beyond the tree line. No explanation was given. The margins of the records were filled with annotations like, "They come in threes and stay inside after dusk." Years later, a documentary crew attempted to follow up. They visited the town in 2015, setting up camp in the forest and interviewing the handful of residents who would speak on camera. In the footage that remains, a man identified only as Walt says, "This place has rules. Don't go out after dark. Don't answer if you hear your name, and never ever follow the lights." On the third night, 2 crew members vanished. The rest fled. The footage was recovered and aired as part of a limited series. But the producers refused to return to finish the project. When asked why, one of them said, "I saw something in those woods. I don't know what it was, but it saw me too." Skeptics have tried to explain the disappearances with rational theories, terrain hazards, animal attacks, even underground cave systems. But no remains are ever found, no equipment, no backpacks, not even a shoe. Some theorists suggest the town is built on a magnetic anomaly, like the Bermuda Triangle. Others believe it's cursed land, tied to indigenous burial grounds or long-forgotten rituals. A few go further, claiming a government experiment went wrong, and now something inhuman roams the forest. The one thing everyone agrees on: people keep vanishing. In 2021, A former police officer named Richard Crowley wrote a memoir about his years investigating Daring Woods disappearances. In one chapter, he describes finding a cabin deep in the forest that wasn't there on previous searches. Inside was a journal, pages full of frantic handwriting, repeating one phrase over and over: "The woods are listening." The cabin was gone when he returned the next day. Crowley's book was pulled from publication after threats from unknown parties. He now lives in isolation and rarely gives interviews. When asked what he thinks is happening in Daring Woods, he simply said, "We were never supposed to settle there. That land isn't ours." Other strange phenomena have also been reported. Residents speak of waking up with strange symbols carved into the wood of their doors. Others mention hearing a second set of footsteps behind them in the snow. Footsteps that stop the moment they look back. One teenager who grew up in the area claims to have witnessed her older brother vanish in front of her while they were walking the trail. One moment, he was ahead of her. The next, the trail was empty. Despite all this, people still try to explore the town. Urban explorers, thrill seekers, paranormal investigators. Many upload footage online. Most of it is uneventful. But every once in a while, a channel goes dark. A final post cut off mid-sentence. Comments flood in asking what happened. No one answers. In a 2023 podcast episode that briefly trended on social media, a man named Lucas claimed to have spent a night in the forest alone. He said he heard whispers all around him, and that the trees seemed to shift when he wasn't looking. He left by sunrise, shaken, and refused to return. When asked what he heard the voices say, he replied, "They kept saying, 'You're home now.'" To this day, Daring Woods remains a place of unanswered questions, a town that sits quietly between the trees, unmoving, unchanged, and somehow still hungry. The most terrifying part? No one knows how many people are truly missing. Some weren't reported, others were just passing through, and every year, a few more names are quietly added to the list. So if you're driving through the Pacific Northwest and your GPS suddenly glitches, if the road turns to gravel and fog creeps in, turn around, because some places aren't meant to be found. And in Daring Woods, once you're taken, you don't come back.